Welcome back to the OHL Fanboys podcast from Day 8 of the 2017 MasterCard Memorial Cup here in Windsor, Ontario. I am Steve McLean, with me is Brian Thompson, and here for our semifinal post-game breakdown is Tim Pigulski, color analyst for the Seattle Thunderbirds. Thank you for joining us once again, Tim.
Thanks for having me, guys. It was good to watch the game with you.
Was it?
We had a lot of sad St. John fans in our section.
Well, I gotta see the Seattle fans experience that a couple days ago, so... I think I've seen the feeling once. It's tough. You don't like to see anybody go through that.
Nothing prepares you for that, eh?
No. I mean, I got to interview some of those Seattle guys after that game, and you see it on the ice, but you see it in the locker room too. It's tough.
We're very happy that this was not Monday's result, regardless of who won, because that was such a shit show. This was a much better game, but one of the big things that's going to be talked about is the refereeing in this game. It wasn't awful, but it was awfully imbalanced.
Yeah, I think that second period, if St. John had ended up winning this game, Erie would have been kicking themselves for all the power play opportunities they missed in second. But that whole controversy we saw with the arm goes up and you think that it's an Erie penalty, and then they skate the other way at the puck and score and it calls back. I think that kind of summarized the whole thing, right? It was just kind of a mess there, a little imbalanced, but ended up working out in St. John's favor, at least for a minute there.
I thought the first period of this game might have been some of the best hockey we saw all tournament. Very exciting. Both teams with lots of pressure both ways. Each team, they came out tied at 1. And then that second period, Erie just took over, and from there on out, you pretty much knew who the better team was. St. John, to their credit, and Callum Booth especially, hung in there for a really long time. And how it should never have been tied after 2, I think. But that third period, Erie kind of, we're not screwing around anymore. And
oh my goodness, we got to get a photo bomb in here. Come on in for the post-game show.
This is the Fanboys post-game show. Honored to be here. It's great to see you guys.
From the Mississauga Steelhead.
That would be me, yeah.
How is it going? How was your time?
It's.
Did you just get down today?
I did. A little bit of a late trip in. Had to work during the week, but nonetheless, great to be a part of all this stuff.
Yeah.
Tim, Tyson is the most well-dressed man in the history of the
I can tell. You're putting me to shame.
And this is Tim Pigulski, the color analyst for the Seattle Thunderbirds. So.
Amazing.
Very nice to meet you.
Yeah, you as well.
Give us your thoughts on the game tonight.
You know what? I was talking about it, and it was a very close game, which was surprising after the outcome the last time these two teams met. But what I said to someone that I was watching with was that the Otters just have this switch that they hit. So they kind of play to the level of the team that they're playing for maybe 40 minutes, and then they go, all right, time to turn it on, boys. They get it together, and that's what happened in the third period.
That explains the Seattle game.
Yeah, I think. I think it was like you were saying, right? Callum Booth, kind of credit to him. Same thing for Seattle when Seattle played him. Carl Stankowski keeping a minute. That game could have been pretty lopsided. I mean, just like after the second, I think we could have seen this game at 4-2, 5-2. I think it could have been similar in the Seattle game. This
is the second game we see DeBrincat go down hard. A lot of questions about his health. What do you guys think about that?
That's tough. I mean, he's obviously an impact guy, and having lost to the Windsor Spitfires, you're going to be relying on a guy like that in the finals. So he has to be on his game, but I think they're going to have him rested and ready to go for Sunday. And I don't see it being too much of a problem. I think a guy like this is going to be hungry and ready to go in his last kind of kick of the can here in Canadian Hockey League hockey. So it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, same thoughts. I think he might have been a little shaken up, but he's a smaller guy, so I think he probably gets that quite a bit. But I don't think there's any doubt we'll see him.
I think the one player I'd be more worried about right now, if I'm an Erie fan, is Troy Timpano. He took a heck of a shot on that last Sea Dogs goal, and it looked like the back of his head may have hit the crossbar.
I'm worried about Troy Timpano with or without that hit at the end of the game.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Heading into this game, this guy's got an 8.23 save percentage. And for a Memorial Cup winning goaltender, that's concerning to me.
Yeah.
Any goaltender who's making a run like that. So he is the big question mark. And I know that against the Steelheads, that was one of the big scouts. Throw pucks to this guy's feet from behind the net, and things are going to pay off for you. That's what James Richmond was really preaching on his team, and it really did pay off for them, and it allowed them to be in that series. So Troy Timpano is the Achilles heel of this Erie Otters team, and I'll be really interested to see how he comes back from this after taking that kind of headshot or big blow.
Yeah.
And even just his performance. I mean, you allow 3 goals to a team like this, you need to bounce back strong. Windsor's got way more firepower, I think.
I mean, Tim, you probably saw it as well. In that third period, right? It took a while for St. John to have a pushback. Finally, after they killed that penalty with about 7 minutes to go, they got a bit of a pushback, but they couldn't. They just weren't getting it on net. They were trying to get those fancy plays, and it's great to try and get that open net and for sure goal. But we've seen Troy Timpano. You've just got to get pucks on this guy.
I mean, that's what I've been saying. I've seen him too. It was my first experience really seeing Timpano, and he has looked a little shaky in there. And I think we saw Seattle only had 20 shots against him. Yeah. I think we saw 23 tonight. I don't remember how many Windsor had.
The shot clock changes based on your blinking.
The shot clock here is
It's
bad.
been broken all tournament, bud.
No, it's not even all tournament long. We saw it, and Erie's very bad for it in their home barn. It's very skewed.
No, I mean literally. We talked to the guys. It's literally broken. They shut the one side off and everything.
But you never know how it's going to be reflected, and if the team's going to be kind of favored, and a couple more shots on their end, which ups the goaltender's save percentage, it makes them look a little bit better too. So I know that throws a lot of goaltenders across the league off, and Erie's been getting a lot of help with that, making Troy Timpano's numbers inflated, which is even more concerning.
So now we look ahead to the final, then all OHL final. First time in 10 years we've had two teams from the same league in the final.
First time since '93 it's been an all OHL final.
And these two teams met 248 days ago to start the season. It's been a crazy 8-month journey. We saw what Windsor did Wednesday. Will it be the same game come Sunday?
I think they're going to come out flying. My concern with Windsor in that game, which didn't end up happening, was they turn on the Jets really quickly and they run out of gas really quickly as well. And that didn't end up happening. I mean, they got out to the lead and they held the lead. They played with the lead very well. So they just need to do the same thing.
How much of that you think is the 44 days off? Maybe have a little something extra in the tank?
There's a big argument to be made there. And that's the thing, right? I mean, a lot of people would argue that Erie is they don't have the rust on them. They haven't had that time off and they're ready to go. But some people say that Erie has had the wear and tear on the bodies and that affects them. So I don't know. I mean, the jury's out on that one. It's tough. It really is. I don't know which way to go. I really don't know what I'd say. As a former player, I think I would like to have that familiarity with the guys on my team and played a couple of days earlier, not 2 days before, but it's tough to say, really. And here's the thing about Erie. I mean, they have the familiarity with one another, having played together for some of them 4 years. Windsor is, I feel like, just a bunch of spare parts thrown together. So it's very different. It's a different look between the two teams, and yeah.
I think we can all agree if Erie and Windsor had to play a 7-game series, the Otters would probably win in maybe 5 or 6 games.
Are you giving the Little Giants speech?
If they play 100 times, they might win 99. But no, seriously.
We already won the one. That's why I don't like that speech.
Yeah, okay, well, maybe they win 98 out of 100. I don't know. So regardless, it comes down to one game. And, like you said, if Windsor can come out with that same intensity that they had on Wednesday night and not, sit on a lead, then they might have a shot at this. Personally, I'm picking the Erie Otters, but, I'm sorry, Brian.
Well, no, it's okay. The question now is, what does Erie do to get past Mike DiPietro? Because without question, he's the best goaltender in this tournament. Hasn't allowed more than 3 goals in one game. Just played heads above heels, and the defense for the Spitfires is stacking up. How do the Otters get through that? They only got 2 goals in that Wednesday game.
It's just kind of having that confidence, and I think, like I said, they have that switch. So they just need to know they have to turn that on in the last game of their season. I mean, this is it. Yeah. Everything's on the line in this game. So hit the switch early in the game, not in the third period, when things get turned on a little bit late, like you saw in the game against the Spitfires early in this tournament. But yeah, it's having that confidence. They have the talent up front to get it done. And I'm not concerned about their back end. Like I said, what I'm concerned about is their goaltending. It has to be there, and they have to come together and just make things happen against Windsor. They've played together for so long. There should be no panic button being hit here.
We're at 7 games now where the team who scored the first goal has won the game. Is that going to be absolutely imperative when you've got a goaltending matchup like this going in tomorrow, Tim, or Sunday?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it's always important. It's shown in this tournament, but I think getting that first goal, establishing that confidence, especially if that's Erie, right? If I don't get to see the OHL, obviously, as much as you guys do, but
there's websites. We'll help you out.
if what you guys say is true, and that Windsor tends to start fast, Erie tends to finish fast, that's going to be an interesting sort of dynamic to watch to see if that. I mean, everything I've seen out of Windsor, it doesn't seem like they've had any sort of like hangover from that 44 days off.
One quick thing. you know, we haven't seen any overtime this tournament, and the last 2 Memorial Cup finals have gone to overtime. So that's a little something to think about for Sunday.
No, it's not. Don't do that to me, buddy.
An OHL team has won the last 2 Memorial Cup finals in overtime. Sorry, Brian. I think it's time we wrap this up because Brian needs to start going and praying to whatever.
I need to buy some smokes and just go take some time.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap things up for the semifinal. Of course, we will be back Sunday with the Windsor Spitfires and the Erie Otters. Brian, I don't know how effective he's going to be on the show. But
If you guys are in Windsor, come out to the tailgate. We have one last tailgate in the parking lot. We start at 8 a.m. Sunday. Bring your own steak. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of people coming out there. There's supposed to be some ex-Spitfires and other ones signing autographs. So come on out. It's going to be a great time.
For Brian Thompson, we thank Tim Pigulski once again for coming on and an unexpected cameo from Tyson
Great to run,
Geick.
you guys, as always. As always.
I am Steve McLean. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you on Sunday for the final.